What is the true price of perfection? We crave it. We pray for it. We sacrifice for it. But what if the gods, in their cruel wisdom, answered that prayer? What if they granted one man the power to create life from stone, only to teach him the agonizing, empty truth of a life without a soul? This is the tragedy of Lycanos, the fates-touched sculptor, and this is the lesson of the living marble. In the sun-bleached hills of Attica, there lived a man named Lycanos. He was not merely a sculptor, he was a devotee, his hands forever stained, perpetually coated in the fine white dust of Parian marble, were instruments of near divinity. His statues were flawless. They captured the ideal of beauty, the perfect curve of a muscle, the exact drape of a chiton. Pilgrims journeyed for weeks just to stand in the presence of his work and weep at its beauty. But Lycanos felt nothing. He saw only the coldness, the stillness, the lie. He would stand in the agora, watching the vibrant, messy, imperfect chaos of humanity. He saw the baker sweating and laughing, the old woman, her face a map of wrinkles and wisdom, the children running with scraped knees, and he felt a profound disappointment. They were flawed. They were temporary. His obsession became a chisel, carving away at his own humanity. He retreated from the warmth of the sun into the cold comfort of his studio. He did not want to capture life. He wanted to transcend it. His hands, those powdered ghosts, would hover in the firelight, reaching for, but never touching, the living skin of another. He prayed, not for love, but for control. He prayed for the power of a god. And the gods, in their terrible, ironic majesty, answered. There was no thunder, no parting of the clouds, only a silence so profound, it felt like the world had stopped breathing. He was working late, the oil lamps casting long dancing shadows, when a sudden stillness fell upon the room. A chill. He turned and saw nothing and everything. A presence, an unseen visitor who needed no door. The air grew cold, and a single perfect golden feather drifted from the rafters, landing upon his dusty, outstretched hand. It was the touch of Apollo, the god of art and of prophecy. A fire, cold and divine, shot up his arm. It was not a fire that burns, but a fire that changes. The blessing or the curse was given. Lycanos felt power, a new, terrifying, exhilarating power. He turned to a simple, unfinished block of marble. He put chisel to stone, and the marble did not chip. It yielded. It moved like clay, like flesh. He worked for 3 days and 3 nights in a fever of creation. He crafted his Galatea, his perfect woman, the Niobe. She was exquisite. He finished the final detail, the curve of an eyelash. He stepped back, his heart pounding, and with a marble-dusted finger, he reached out and touched her stone hand. The stone softened. It did not crack or warm. It yielded. The grey veins of the marble became the blue veins of a wrist, the chiseled linen became soft cloth. The statue blinked. She turned her perfect head and looked at him. Lykinos wept. It was the joy of a god. He had done it. He had created life. He spoke to her. She listened. He laughed. She smiled. A perfect, beautiful, symmetrical smile. And that was when the horror began. The smile never wavered. Her eyes, so clear, so brilliant, held nothing. There was no spark, no soul. It was a perfect imitation of life. He created more in a panic. A young boy, the perfect son, a loyal hound. His studio, once a place of silent stone, was now filled with the gentle, whisper-quiet movements of his living marble family. They were obedient. They were flawless. They were cold. He was a god in a pantheon of automatons. His greatest creation was his most profound failure. He was surrounded by beautiful, breathing, empty things. His obsession had been answered, literally. He had his perfect family, and he had never felt so alone. His hands, the instruments of his gift, were now the mark of his curse. He could not touch a real, flawed human without feeling the urge to fix them, to make them perfect, to make them stone. The world forgot Lykinos, but his story became a whisper, a warning, carried on the winds that sweep down from the mountains. The legends say his studio is still there, that if you find it, you will see him, an old man, his hands caked in white, sitting in a chair, while his perfect living marble creations stand and watch and wait for a command that will never come. He is the final statue. The price of the living marble is not paid in gold. It is paid in humanity. The gods did not give him the gift of life. They gave him the curse of perfection. A reminder that it is the flaw, the break, the imperfection that truly holds the soul.